I'm going to talk to you on another part of the subject that I brought up earlier in regards to being so spiritually minded that you're no earthly good. And this is in regards to dumb women who used to be smart or dumb men who used to be smart. Of course, when we encounter a spiritual epiphany, we join a particular order or we have a spiritual experience where we want to change our ways. All of our old ways just fall to the wayside and we become a new person inside and out when we have that spiritual experience. And the thing is that when we're living this new life, we try to avoid dealing with some of the old ways that we had. But you know what? Some of those old ways might prove useful in your new life. Let me give you a case in point. I'm going to talk about one scenario with men and another scenario with women. Okay, let's say that you joined a particular organization, a particular religion, or whatever the case may be because of your spiritual awakening. You're a new person and you want to live the rest of your life in this particular lifestyle because everything that's old is now new. Let's say you're a woman. Back in the day, you weren't that horrible. You were out there in the world, don't get me wrong, and you were doing your thing. As far as like dealing with men, you had quite a few. The truth is what it is. You've had quite a few. But you also had a no-nonsense approach because you weren't going to take any mess off of anybody. If any of them gave you a hard time, it was time to go. And you didn't waste any time doing that. But now that you've become spiritually anew and you're a new person, you're talking the language, you're walking differently, and then all of a sudden you're quiet as a lamb. But the problem is that you don't have that tenacity with dealing with men anymore. All of a sudden you're naive and don't know anything, and every man that you do get in contact with, they take full advantage of you. And the only reason why that you don't go back to your old ways and cut them off when you should is that you turn around and say, well, I have this new spiritual awakening. And, this particular book says that I should always forgive this, that, and the other. If that person didn't ask for it, don't give it. That's the way I look at it. Because when a person asks for forgiveness, that means that they're aware they've done something wrong. But if they're going to keep behaving without even showing any remorse or repentance, I'm sorry, I'm not handing out forgiveness like talking about it just because some doctrine tells me so. I'll pray for them in the distance, but I'm not going to turn around and forgive them for what they did to me. No. Not if they're showing any type of effort to try to change themselves. Well, now I will pray that things will change for them, but I'm going to pray while I'm over here and you're going to be way over there. And the problem is a lot of these women will turn around and get saved, and you guys probably see it all the time. You probably have one or two women in the church. Back in the day, they used to tear it up and mix it up. And now they're in the church, and men just come in and out their lives and run all over them, take all their money, use up their body, take the houses from them, run all kind of women on them, give them diseases and everything else. And you're thinking to yourself, man, back in the day, she wouldn't put up with that. That's a case of somebody being so spiritually minded where they're no earthly good. Sometimes you got to reach back in that old bag of tricks to protect yourself sometimes. Just being practical here. Case in point number 2. Let's say that brother in the church is stand up, he's in the leadership, he knows the word, he's on the deacon board or whatever whatever leadership there is in the church, and he's there active in his community. He's a real stand-up sweet guy. But back in the day, he used to be on the corner hustling drugs and women. Well, the thing is, he knows how it is in that street life. He knows how it is. It's a totally different world. He gets in the church and he totally forgets about all that. So he decides that he's going to turn around and get himself somebody in his life. And even though she has the package, she was from the street. She wasn't completely saved. But see, because he calls himself putting all his old ways behind and his old thinking, The old him would have seen her coming and would have either put her in her place or got rid of her. But because he's so naive in this new spirituality, she comes in and she cleans out his bank account, takes all his money, and just runs him through the ringer. And he's sitting up there on his knees at the altar, along with the sister that's been taken advantage by men, talking about, Lord, help me, Lord, help me, Lord, help me. The both of them should have reached back in them old bag of tricks and said, you know what? It ain't happening. So just because you become a new person in your spiritual journey doesn't mean you have to throw away all your old ways, because some of those old ways might save your life. And it's up to you to decide how to handle that. There were lessons in that. Just saying.